Reading is a crucial part in a child's life. As a future teacher, it is important that the learning environment of my classroom is not only carefully thought out, but also a reading environment that fosters the love of reading. First and foremost, I want my classroom environment to be positive. A teacher needs to be excited each and every day for each and every lesson. This enthusiasm and positivity will rub off onto students and get them excited about learning as well. My classroom environment will also convey positivity in the treatment of others through kindness and respect. Developing a strong classroom community is also a key factor in developing relationships and a strong classroom foundation. In order to build a strong classroom community, it is essential that respect is given and received in the classroom. I think it is important that students feel comfortable with the teacher as well as each other. I also believe that while the classroom is an academic environment, some time should be made for getting to know students on a more personal level. This can be done through simple sharing by students about their weekends or anything on their minds that they wish for the class to know. Providing this short time in the day allows students to get to know each other better, and they will not disrupt time reserved for academics trying to share this information. Showing students that reading is important is the best thing you can do as a teacher. By modeling and reading yourself, you are setting an example that students will follow and look up to. As a future teacher, this is how I plan to foster a love of reading. I want students to see me reading and see me excited about reading. For the students who love reading, I want to encourage them to keep reading as much as possible. For students who do not enjoy reading as much, I plan on finding their interest and finding texts about their interest. Hopefully, through watching my love of reading, the positivity that is administered throughout the classroom, finding students' interest, and encouraging reading, students will begin to understand how important reading is. For my literacy block, I plan on using the Daily 5 model and cafe. This model includes read to self, read to someone, word work, listen to reading, and work on writing. Each student will have their own bucket of good fit books. While I do believe that students should choose what they do, it would depend on what grade level of students I have for how much independence they would get. If I was teaching a 5th grade classroom, I would set up my literacy block using a variation of Daily 5. Writer's Workshop and Reader's Workshop would occur every day in the form of mini lessons. Every day, students would read to self for an allotted amount of time. On certain days, I would assign students to work on word work. Word work would consist of various word games in which they are manipulating letters. They would be fun and interactive for the students. I would also assign certain days for work on writing for students. These activities would range from responding to a text that they have read to simply writing about anything they want in their writer's notebooks. I would eliminate listen to reading as a choice for the students. To compensate for this, I would make sure to read aloud daily to students either right before the literacy block or at another time during the day. The other 3 days of the week, the students will have the choice to either read to self or read to someone. I will have a chart that marks what each student does every day. While they are free to choose, they must do each activity at least once a week. While the students are busy working, I will be conferencing with students or modeling reading when I can. While each child will have their own bucket of good fit books, it is my job as a teacher to know what level of books should be in their bucket. During Daily 5 time, I will conference with students and test their reading skills. I will use DRA to assess their reading level and also find their Lexile scores. This information will help find books in their reading level. It is important that these tests are administered throughout the year so that you can check on the student's progress. It is also important that the books in the student's bucket are being changed out regularly so that the child does not get bored and that the child is also being challenged. Communication is a huge part in learning and in a successful classroom. Communication with parents is vital to make parents happy as well as keeping them included in their child's education. In order to communicate with my parents, I plan on creating a weekly newsletter. I would send this newsletter home every Friday, and it would explain what we are going to do the following week. That allows the parents to know what is coming up and ask any questions about the curriculum if they need to. I also would try to email each parent once a week just to touch base and let them know personally how their student is doing. As for students, communication will be happening continuously throughout the day. I will have the students use a system that lets me know what they need. For example, hand in the air means they have a question, one finger up means they need to use the restroom, two fingers means they need to sharpen their pencil, etc. By using this and the classroom rules of staying positive, showing kindness, and showing respect, I think my classroom will be very good at communicating with one another. All of these factors contribute in making my future classroom the best learning environment and reading environment I believe it can be. While these ideas might not be perfect, I believe they are a good start for a literacy classroom.